How did you meet Chidera?
How did I meet Chidera? Well, one of my best friends who was actually at the wedding, Peter, he's actually married to Chidera's cousin. So we all lived in Atlanta except for Chidera. She lived in Cleveland, but she would come by to visit her cousin every once in a while. And just because we all hung out together, you know, went out and stuff, I just got to know her through them initially. But over time, actually, I remember looking her up on Facebook and adding her. And funny enough, one day I just actually sent her a message and asked for her phone number and called her up, and we just became friends ever since.
How did you propose?
It's actually one of my most proudest moments. I had actually had her here because we were long distance for a long time. She used to come out here once a month or so, and I used to go out there the other time a month. And she was just here for my birthday. She actually threw me a birthday party. And it was great, by the way. I still actually remember it was probably the best party I've ever had. So I had bought her engagement ring and I was holding on to it for a little while. And I just couldn't think of the right time to give it to her. The first plan was right after the party, maybe a couple days later, go to a restaurant and stuff, but then I just couldn't find the right moment. And then one day I was talking to her brother on the phone, and I just had this urge to just do it. So he and I kind of devised this plan. So I booked a ticket, and it was on a random weekday. I think it was like on a Wednesday or a Thursday. And I flew down to Cleveland, and the plan was to tell her brother Soma, by the way, that he was going to tell Chidera that he was going to be in town for a couple days and he wanted to go to dinner and celebrate this big promotion that he got. So he calls her up, says, you know, meet me at this restaurant, let's have dinner, let's talk about my promotion. And you know, that was the extent of her knowledge on the subject. So much so that that evening when we were supposed to talk on the phone, she was like, oh, I'm just gonna be out with Soma for dinner. You know, I might not be back till late, so you know, I won't be calling you till a little bit later. And I was like, oh yeah, that's fine. At the time, I was actually at a hotel in Cleveland. So that evening, I went out to the restaurant and was on the other side. The restaurant's actually split in two. So on the right side, there's like a bar and the staging area where we were gonna have dinner. And the maitre d' was told to put Chidera on the left side and wait for her brother. So I went out there, and she was waiting for a while, and I just walked out. I had the entire wait staff follow me out there, and I proposed. And hopefully she says the same thing. I think it was probably the most surprised she's ever been, because she didn't know I was supposed to be in town. She'd just seen me a couple weeks ago, maybe not even a couple, it was probably a week ago. And yeah, the entire restaurant clapped and made the big scene or whatever. And then we went over to our staging area, had dinner. I had a pianist play The Way You Look Tonight by Frank Sinatra, a bottle of champagne, and an amazing dinner. But having said that, we didn't eat a lot. She was making a lot of phone calls. I was doing a lot of the eating.
What is so special about Chidera?
What is so special? She is actually the most amazing person I've ever met. Initially, like I'd mentioned before, that we were such good friends and we got on so well, but the more I got to know her, the more we got to talk, the more I realized that she was probably the person that God had made for me, and I just didn't know about it for a while. So she's got such a great heart. She's really caring, really considerate, just a really sweet person. So much so that she has expectations that everybody should be as sweet as she is. She never has a bad thing to say about anybody. She really never has a bad thought. It's just a matter of trying to be the best person that she is, and I have so much admiration and respect for that. And I just feel exceptionally lucky to be her husband. And it makes me want to be a better person. It makes me want to be patient and understanding and see the world, you know, in a more positive light than I guess most people would. And she makes me happier than I've ever been, so.
Now, let's just say 10 to 15 years from now when you all are having issues or you all may be having problems like, you know, any other married couple. What would you like to tell yourself when looking back at this video?
That's a really good question. 10 to 15-year Odie, boy, thank goodness for not letting yourself go. I would say that even at this short stage of marriage, as not having been married for very long, we know, and I think that you and Chidera both know that you've had your ups and downs, and everybody has their ups and downs. Nothing's perfect, nothing's easy, and anything worth doing is worth fighting for. Just remember that you guys communicate so well. You talk about everything, and most importantly, even before all the lovey-dovey romantic stuff, you guys are best friends, and you need to maintain that relationship. You need to start off every conversation like she's your friend, you're like your best friend, and you want to do what's best for each other. So my advice to you is, whatever the situation may be, talk to her about it, have a nice conversation, and remind each other of exactly why you made that plunge, and remind each other of all the different things that you've been through. I mean, it's only been, together-wise, about 3 years, and we've already been through so much. I can only imagine what you guys have been through after, 10, 15 years, whenever we're watching this back. But there's a reason that we've gotten through it, and I don't believe that there's anything that we won't be able to get through together. So maintain that trust, maintain that respect, that commitment, and communication, and most importantly, put God first, and make sure that you guys remain the best of friends. And hopefully our kids see that, and hopefully that we can be a good example to anybody else who wants to get married, because like I said, it's never easy, but it's all worth it.